Hey everyone! Welcome back to Let Your Imagination Run Wild. Today we're diving into a fascinating book that explores the complex relationship between money and human behavior. It's The Psychology of Money, Timeless Lessons on Wealth, Greed, and Happiness by Morgan Housel. This book is not just about finance, it's about how our attitudes and decisions around money shape our lives. So let's get started. Chapter 1. No One's Crazy. In Chapter 1, Morgan Housel talks about how our personal experiences shape our financial decisions. Everyone's approach to money is different because it's influenced by individual backgrounds, upbringing, and experiences. This chapter resonated with me because it made me realize that there's no one right way to manage money. We all have unique perspectives, and that's okay. Chapter 2. Luck and Risk. Next up is Chapter 2, where Housel explains the roles of luck and risk in financial success. He emphasizes that it's easy to attribute success to skill and failures to bad luck, but the reality is more nuanced. This chapter is a great reminder that while we can control our actions, we can't control the outcomes. It's important to stay humble and recognize the external factors that influence our lives. Chapter 3. Never Enough. Chapter 3 dives into the concept of never enough. Housel tells the story of Rajat Gupta, a successful businessman who got caught up in insider trading because he wanted more despite already having plenty. This chapter made me reflect on my own desires and how sometimes chasing more can lead to devastating consequences. It's a powerful lesson in contentment and gratitude. Chapter 4. Confounding Compounding. In Chapter 4, we learn about the magic of compounding. Housel illustrates how small actions, when compounded over time, can lead to significant results. This principle is crucial not only in finance but in life. It reminds me to be patient and consistent, as small efforts can yield big rewards in the long run. Chapter 5. Getting Wealthy versus Staying Wealthy. Chapter 5 contrasts getting wealthy with staying wealthy. Housel argues that getting money requires taking risks, but keeping it requires humility and a conservative approach. This chapter was eye-opening for me because it highlights the importance of not just achieving success, but maintaining it through wise decisions. Chapter 6. Tails You Win. In Chapter 6, Housel discusses how a few key events often drive the majority of outcomes. This tail event concept is crucial for understanding financial markets and personal investments. It's a reminder that sometimes a few big wins can make up for many small losses, and that's a comforting thought. Chapter 7. Freedom. Chapter 7 is all about freedom. Housel explains that the ultimate goal of money should be to gain control over our time. This chapter struck a chord with me because it emphasizes that wealth isn't just about buying things. It's about buying freedom and the ability to live life on our own terms. Chapter 8. Man in the Car Paradox. In Chapter 8, we encounter the man in the car paradox. Housel explains that people often spend money to impress others, but the reality is no one really notices. This chapter is a great reminder to spend money on what truly makes us happy, rather than seeking validation from others. Chapter 9. Wealth is what you don't see. Chapter 9 emphasizes that real wealth is what you don't see. It's the money not spent on flashy items, but saved and invested wisely. This perspective shift was enlightening for me, encouraging a focus on building unseen wealth, rather than showing off material possessions. Chapter 10. Save Money. Chapter 10 delves into the importance of saving money. Housel stresses that saving isn't about having a specific goal, but about creating a margin of safety for life's uncertainties. It's a straightforward yet powerful reminder to prioritize savings to ensure financial stability. Chapter 11. Reasonable, Rational. Chapter 11 discusses how being reasonable often trumps being rational. Housel argues that while financial decisions should be logical, they also need to be practical and aligned with personal values and happiness. This chapter taught me to balance logic with emotions in my financial choices. Chapter 12. Surprise. In Chapter 12, Housel talks about the inevitability of surprises. He suggests that we should expect the unexpected and be prepared for life's financial surprises. This chapter is a lesson in resilience and flexibility, encouraging us to be ready for whatever comes our way. Chapter 13. Room for Error. Chapter 13 focuses on the importance of having room for error in our financial plans. Housel advises building in a margin of safety to account for uncertainties. This chapter reinforced the idea that it's better to be safe than sorry, ensuring we can handle unexpected events without major setbacks. Chapter 14. You'll Change. Chapter 14 discusses the inevitability of change. Housel explains that our goals and desires will evolve over time, so our financial plans should be flexible enough to adapt. This chapter was a great reminder to stay open-minded and be willing to adjust our strategies as life changes. Chapter 15. Nothing's Free. In Chapter 15, we learn that everything has a price. Housel points out that the cost of getting rich isn't just financial, it involves sacrifices and trade-offs. This chapter encourages us to consider the true cost of our financial goals and whether we're willing to pay it. Chapter 16. You and Me. Chapter 16 highlights how our financial decisions are influenced by our unique circumstances. Housel argues that there's no one-size-fits-all approach to money management. This chapter resonated with me because it validated the idea that our financial paths are personal and unique. Chapter 17, The Seduction of Pessimism. Chapter 17 addresses the allure of pessimism. Housel explains why negative news tends to grab our attention more than positive news, and how this can influence our financial decisions. This chapter reminded me to stay optimistic and not get swayed by the constant barrage of negative information. Chapter 18, When You'll Believe Anything. Chapter 18 explores the susceptibility to believe in simple, reassuring stories rather than complex realities. Housel emphasizes critical thinking and skepticism when it comes to financial decisions. This chapter was a valuable lesson in staying informed and not falling for too good-to-be-true schemes. Chapter 19, All Together Now. Chapter 19 brings together the book's themes, emphasizing the importance of humility, flexibility, and long-term thinking in financial decisions. This chapter served as a comprehensive summary, reinforcing the key lessons learned throughout the book. Chapter 20, Confessions. In the final chapter, Housel shares personal confessions about his financial mistakes and what he's learned from them. This chapter is a candid reminder that even experts make mistakes, and the key is to learn and grow from them. What I loved about The Psychology of Money is its relatable and accessible approach to finance. Housel's storytelling makes complex concepts easy to understand, and his emphasis on behavior rather than numbers is refreshing. However, I found some chapters a bit repetitive, which can slow down the reading pace. Overall, it's a must-read for anyone looking to gain a deeper understanding of their financial mindset and behaviors. Thanks for joining me on this journey through The Psychology of Money. If you enjoyed this summary, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Let Your Imagination Run Wild for more book summaries and reviews. Share your thoughts on this book or suggest other books you'd like me to review next. Until next time, happy reading.